Countdown to Easter, day 12, Easter itself. When the women come to the tomb, amazed find the tomb open and nobody there. The story is told in the form of a letter by one of Jesus' women followers, Salome, or Shlomit in Aramaic. Here's what she wrote a couple of days later. From Shlomit, faithful wife, to my beloved husband Yitzchak, and to Elazar, or Lazarus, and all supporters of our Rabbi Yeshua in Ephraim. Shalom Aleichem, in the name of Abba Allah. I thank Allah constantly for your love and faithfulness, which are such a support to me and all who love our Rabbi. I pray that he may continue to keep you safe from all our enemies, and that we will see each other again very soon. I have so much news to write to you. You won't believe it. Yesterday, really early, Miriam Magdalene woke us, all four of us who'd been out with her the night before to get the spices. After washing our hands, we wrapped ourselves in our cloaks and went out. Just four women. There was just the faintest hint of pale sky in the east. We walked down the Mount of Olives and past the Roman fortress, ignoring the wolf whistles from the soldiers guarding the main gate. We skirted the city wall till we came to the spot where our rabbi had died. As we got closer, we realized that the stone blocking the grave entrance would still be in place. We didn't know if the combined effort of the four of us would be enough to shift it. Perhaps a stranger might help us. We didn't want any of the 12 to get involved. They'd almost been arrested 2 days ago. But when we got there wasn't one grave that was shut. Well, we knew it wasn't a popular place because of where it was. It gave me the cold shivers to be right at the spot where our rabbi had suffered that cursed death. But Miriam Magdalene strode straight up to one of the black square openings and then shrieked. We ran up to her and stood rooted to the spot. In the early morning light, we could just see a young man dressed in a white tunic sitting on the body slab on the right-hand side inside the grave. We were about to turn tail and flee when he announced clear as clear, "Don't be shocked. You're looking for Yeshua ish Nazareth, the crucified one. He has been raised. He isn't here. Look, here is the place where they put him." We were speechless. We didn't know whether to run or stay. "Go and tell his trainees, and go tell Shimon Kepha, Simon Peter, that he is going ahead of you. He is going to Galilee. You will see him again, just as he said." Our nerves broke. We ran out of there as if our lives depended upon it. When we got halfway along the city wall, Miriam Magdalene stopped. "That man, whoever he was, told us to tell Shimon Kepha. But we don't know where he is," wailed Johanna. "I have an idea," she replied. "You go back and tell the rest of the brothers I'm going to the city. I think I know where he might be." We found out later that she had guessed that Shimon Kepha had taken refuge in the house of Yochanan of Jerusalem, John of Jerusalem, after his terrible upset and denying his Lord in the courtyard of the high priest. And he was there with Miriam, the mother of Yeshua, and Miriam was right. Shimon and Yochanan both ran to the grave and found the linen grave cloths in an empty tomb. Miriam Magdalene followed them, walking, and stayed alone at the grave. And listen to this. Yeshua, our rabbi, met her there, alive. She raced back to us, and by mid-morning, all of us, men and women, had heard her story. We just didn't know what to believe. Then Shimon Kepha turned up at the door, knocking loudly. He was like the old Shimon, excitable, enthusiastic, strong. He said that Jeshua had met him too. Next morning we had more news. The previous night, The 11 were roused by Cleopas and his wife, who just hurried back in the dark from Emmaus. It was not far off the middle of the night when they got here. I gasped out their news. They had just spent 2 hours with Yeshua and almost had a meal with him. Not surprisingly, everyone started talking at once, so much so that for a little time they didn't realize that Yeshua was right there standing amongst them. Absolutely unbelievable. Only Toma wasn't there. He'd been out staying with his family. And when he got back in the morning, he just said roundly he didn't believe a word of it. Anyway, that's our amazing news. The faces of our brothers now shine with a new hope and joy. It's wonderful, but hard to know what now. I guess that if anyone is going to credit it, it's Elazar, because he's been there. We're going to stay here for a few more days until the end of the feast. What happens then, only Abba Allah and our Rabbi Yeshua know. All our brothers and sisters here send you their greetings, especially Martha and Miriam. I, Timon of the household, who wrote this letter, also send my greetings. May Abba Allah's steadfast love and faithfulness be with you. That's almost the end of my historical novel, Yeshua, Jesus the Troublemaker. If you have a copy of the book, which you can get easily from Amazon or from my website, bibleinbrief.org, then I explain all the reasons why I put in what I did and the arguments and the evidence for it. There's only one more section, that comes 50 days later, with a report of the captain of the temple police, so talking about the upset and the strange events at Pentecost. Anyway, I wish you a very happy Easter, and do feel free to have a look inside the book on Amazon or on my website, bibleinbrief.org. Happy Easter.